Hey guys, what's up? Welcome to Life in Equilibrium. My name's Ethan.
I'm Jake. So
And-
today we want to talk a little bit about money. You may notice that we got a new little setup here.
Yeah, so we got some mics, some new lights. We decided we're going to change a little bit how we do it. We're going to record it as a podcast and then break it up into a few different sections for our YouTube video.
Yeah, so a lot of the times you might hear us say, hey, make a comment. For you podcast folks, just if you have a question, feel free to send us an email or anything like that.
Yeah, our email's on our podcast right there. And for you YouTube people, you can leave a comment right there as well. If you would like to, you can also send us an email and we'll answer those questions that you may have. So
yeah, totally. So let's get into it. Kind of the basics. We just wanted to really start off with the basics of money. And I think that's a big stressor for a lot of people. Obviously, I think a lot of couples get into arguments about money.
Yeah.
A lot.
yeah.
It's probably one, I don't know if it is the biggest, but it might be one of the biggest causes of contention or arguments in
Yeah.
our house.
Well, I mean, it is kind of stressful, honestly. Lots of people don't like to think about money, and because it can be something super good, or it can really maybe is affecting your guys' lives that's not making you happy, kind of.
Yeah, and I think either too much or too little.
Yeah, there has to be the balance.
So, today, a cool thing we thought of was how can you spend money and how can you buy all the things that you want and still be wealthy?
Yeah.
So let's just kick it off. Let's start about the basics. Ethan, I know had some really good thoughts on this.
Yeah, so I think one of the basic things, and I know lots of people talk about it, but it really is you just have to spend less than you're making. And I think that can be a challenge sometimes with a lot of people, but it's really the key. That's like the first thing that we have to start off doing before we're able to increase our money and be able to buy everything that we would like to.
Yeah, absolutely. And you have to track your money. And people hate that.
Yeah.
People absolutely, I love it. I know you do.
I love it.
It's
I
fun
love
for
it.
a lot of people, but for a lot of other people, it's really stressful and they really don't enjoy it, and it actually causes stress.
And I think one of the reasons why people don't like to talk about money is because they don't really understand a lot of parts about it. There's some lingo, there's just some different words and some things. So I think another important thing about that is you really have to, you have to learn a little bit about it. It takes a little bit of practice to kind of understand money and how it works. But if you put in a little bit of work right there, I think that'll make it so money isn't such a big mystery and as big of a stressor if you understand it a little more.
Yeah, like how many money classes have you taken?
I took one in high school.
I think that's about what everyone's taken.
Yeah, honestly. But lots of it is yourself and what you have to put in. And honestly, you don't have to put in a lot of time. Just reading a little bit or putting in a little bit of work.
Where do you find resources? What do you read?
I've listened to a couple podcasts. I know there's some good books out there. There's one, it's called Automated Millionaire. I don't know.
The Automatic Millionaire.
The Automatic Millionaire. I don't know which books you've read.
Yeah, that's one of my favorites. It's an older book, but I love it.
Yeah. Super good.
Me personally, I watch YouTube videos. I think they're super entertaining. And a lot of them are, like they post graphics and things like that, which I think are super cool. We are not millionaires. We're not money gurus. We haven't got a degree in financial literacy or economics or anything like that. But maybe that is the cool thing about us, is like we can relate to you guys a little bit more. And we feel comfortable talking about money.
Yeah.
I think that's something that we're both passionate about.
I think it just comes down to we've put in some time and we understand a little bit more and we've set those goals of things that we would like to accomplish. And so it's helped us be able to understand it and be comfortable talking about it.
Yeah, and we hope to be open. I'm going to be open. I'll let you know how much is in my savings and how much I make and things like that, because I think that's important to realize that we're not sitting here making $100 an hour.
No.
Like we make very average money.
You don't have to make your salary doesn't have to be 300,000 a year to be able to be wealthy. It's honestly how much you spend versus how much you make, and making that ratio correct.
And I think another thing is a lot of people use the word rich and wealthy.
Yeah.
I prefer wealthy. I think rich is all about the looks. This is my personal opinion. Rich is all about the looks, and wealthy is about if you actually have the money. And a lot of actually really wealthy people, they don't flaunt it and they don't buy the newest things because they spend less than they make. And that allows them to be wealthy and happy, honestly, when you're not stressed about where is my money coming from? Like, how am I going to get money to pay for this new thing I just financed? So,
well, that honestly comes down to being in debt, I think. If you buy a lot of big things and all your money's going to paying off these loans and debts that you have, you don't have any money that you can spend on things that you would like to buy.
Yeah. And we're going to talk about that. How can you buy all the things that you want to buy?
Yeah.
Making what you do now. So, let's go. And Ethan, how many people you know hate the word budget? Do you hate the word budget?
I hate the word budget. So I think budgeting is almost a misunderstood topic, or a misunderstood word. I think people think about it in the wrong way, because I honestly hate the word budget and the connotation that it's got. So I think what you need to do is just make it as simple as you can. Honestly, a budget doesn't need to be complex and difficult, because the simpler it is, the more likely you are to stick to and follow your budget, right? So I think number one, what I like to do personally when I budget is I'll make a list of all the things, typically monthly is what I'll do, is what I have to spend, for example, rent or your mortgage payment, any car loans that you may have, credit card debt or anything like that, or Wi-Fi, utilities, anything. Make a list of everything that you have to spend, make a list of all the money that you make. And then as well, you should make a percentage that you put into savings. You should put in the percentage of how much you have to spend. And then once you've divided all that, all the leftover money that you have left, you can buy or spend that with whatever you would like to. Does that make sense?
Yeah, I think your way sounds awesome for people that love to look at money.
Yeah.
What would you say? Yeah?
Yeah.
And I know Ethan, that is one of his passions. He likes looking and seeing where his money's going. He likes seeing that his money's working for him. We mentioned earlier the book, The Automatic Millionaire. And I think that book, before we were using Mint, I'm sure a lot of you are familiar with Mint. And before what I'm doing now, we were using Mint. And it was pretty stressful for Braden, my wife. I'd say, okay, you can only spend $150 on this certain category, and you have about $100 or $50 for this category. And she'd go, I spent $52. I'm stressed. I'm sorry. And really, like, how often does your exact whatever you're buying come up to that $50 or $100? So I read the book called The Automatic Millionaire. And it's basically, the premise is it's a financial advisor talking to this couple, and the couple, they are millionaires, and they don't make very much money compared to what he thought a normal millionaire would make. And they their method was they would, the very beginning, they only did this one time, so it makes it really easy. One time, and then you never have to think about it again. So that's why it's automatic. You set up automatic payments, automatic deposits. So for example, when you get paid, it's automatically deposited into your bank account. From there, every bank account nowadays has apps.
Yeah.
And if they don't, there are still ways to do it. You can take that money that you get paid, and before you really even see it, you can set up an automatic recurring payment or deposit to go into some other accounts. So I get paid, I have some money, I go to a savings account that has a little bit higher percentage rate, I send money to, I just automatically, before I even see it, it just goes off to emergency funds and things like that really quick. And I never think about it. It happens. I do it one time, I set it up, and I never think about it again. And then what I'm left with is the money I can spend. And that's the money that is my lifestyle. And I get used to that. And that is the amount of money I spend every month.
And then do you, with that money that you have spent or that you're able to spend, do you divide and say, all right, I have $50 for groceries, I have $50 for fun, $50 for restaurants, or how do you do that money?
Nope, we just kind of
Just spend it.
We spend it, and I don't have to worry about as much as like if an emergency happens or if I don't have enough money in these other categories, because it's already there. It should be there, and I never have to worry about it. During the month, if I spend a whole bunch on food, then I see maybe I have like $200 left. I can't go to a big vacation, or I can't do little things like that. And that's just something that we sacrifice. You give and take a little bit, but you just kind of play it out what you want to do that month, and the money's there. You get used to your lifestyle. And I was talking with somebody at work, and they're like, how could you do that? I'd have to like lower my standard of living a little bit. But really, you get used to it after 1 or 2 months. And if you need to, you just month by month, you just chip it down a little bit so that you can put that money where you should put that money. And you'll get used to that standard of living. It's really about the standard of living.
Yeah. I really like that part of it. Makes it easy to budget because you put the money's automatically going towards saving and paying yourself first, which I really like, because if you save, let's say 25%, which is what I'm currently doing right now. I put 25% of my income straight into a savings account because we're saving for a house. So that's what I'm doing right now. And you pay yourself first, give yourself that money, invest it, you said the emergency funds and things like that. So you do that first, and then all the leftover money is what you can spend on whatever. And that makes budgeting super simple, because then you're not having to worry about, oh, I overspent on restaurants this month. Now how do I compensate for that? It makes it way less stressful. And I really like that part.
Have you heard about the envelope method of budgeting?
I have. Personally, not a big fan. I haven't tried it, but
so much work.
Yeah. And for people that don't like money, I mean, why make it harder than it needs to be?
Everything nowadays is online.
Yeah.
Like you can do almost everything online. So let's just make it automatic. I mean, it's as easy as that. You think about it one time, and the fact of the matter is, you just won't have the money to go blow if you have a problem with that. It's not there. And so in those moments of weakness, when you just really want to go buy that next knife or something, you just can't, because you've already set the money aside. So it saves you money in the long run.
Yeah, I really like that. So for budgeting, kind of, I guess what we decided is the best thing to do. Not everyone likes money, so make it as easy as you can. Number one, pay yourself first. Automatically transfer that money when you get paid into your savings account, into an emergency fund, things like that, so that you have the money that will go to yourself. And then all the leftover money you can spend on whatever you would like.
Yeah.
Making sure you're not spending more than what you're making.
Yeah. So honestly, comment.
What do you think of that? What's worked for you guys?
What's worked for you? Try it out and see if it ends up helping you. Do it for a couple months, see if you can get that standard of living. And it might take a little bit at the beginning to kind of figure out how the transfers work and things, but it's going to work. So please let us know how it works. If you feel like this is effective, email us, send a comment, post a comment.
Yeah. And we'll see where we'll go from there.
Cool.